All right, let's get started. Okay, guys. So pretty, I think the whole market got a little bit frustrated, in a sense of because everyone was expecting to have much more volatility this week than what actually did. I mean, if we open the charts here, you will understand what I mean. So on Tuesday, I've mentioned about a potential comeback to this level. Okay. And indeed it came back. Oops, sorry. And indeed it came back. All right. We were talking about this coming back to here. And then, probably if we break through these levels, as I say, we would be able to, continue to go lower. I'm talking about euro dollar, to around these levels down here. But it didn't work out the way, I thought it would. But that's all right as well. That doesn't bother me, because tonight we're going to have the ECB at 10. I think it's 10. Let me just double check. 10:15. Yeah. So 10:15. I actually have made a video on that, talking about the ECB interest rates decision. And to be very honest with everyone, nothing crazy. Okay, I think everyone is expecting the same thing. So let's have a look here. So I've made a video here, talking about, the ECB rate decision and the market expectations. But indeed, I do believe that we can potentially come back lower. But now, that we break this top. Okay. Okay, so if we look to the structure in a sense, let me delete this. We pretty much we're having a pretty clear structure, right? So let me get this. So we have a bottom here, we have another bottom here. All right, and then we have another one just now, yesterday, and then we probably do to another correction now. So if we look back to, I don't like to do those technical things, but this is common sense about breaking highs. That's one thing. Wait a minute. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A, B, C, D. Yeah, well, supposedly we're gonna go something around those levels. So this one and this guy comes to here. Yep. Okay. So another bottom there, and then we break through this top again. All right. And that was on Monday last week, sorry. And then we break through this top. So a few things happening on euro dollar, right? So what we can potentially expect is, if we break through this bottom, all right, this one just here, we can probably come down to somewhere around those levels. All right. That's what are my expectations. So otherwise, if we just a second, you're right. Okay. So if we continue to go higher and higher, we would have to break this top here. But let me take all of this off. Let's go for the daily chart. It's so cold. Jesus. Okay, so if we look to the daily chart, if we look to the daily chart, you guys had to see these. So my cat, she has a bigger than actual tongue that she could have, and she always stand with the tongue outside of her mouth. It's pretty funny. Anyways, so here we are on a pretty simple range. okay, if we kind of looked at this on this way, okay, and we are on the top of the range, and this is what Nathan Bray have been saying for a couple of days already. But what it scares me in a sense is that this can be a bigger range as well if needed. All right, somewhere around that. So if we lose this stop tonight on the ECB, we can potentially come um, around those levels. Okay, those levels here. So that's a very simple technical analysis, but still, okay. We're not very far from that level as well. Okay, we're not very far from it, but it would require another move at this magnitude to happen. One thing it was that, let me put in the 4 hour. One thing that I wasn't predicting, right, to be honest, this higher move here. I did predict the whole move down, and I was expecting to continue to go lower. But in a sense, I was wrong, and that's completely fine. But if we look here, yes, we are in a very close support area somewhere around these levels. Okay. I tend to not believe much on, support and resistance. But I'm not going to lie for you guys. I'm stuck on a pretty big drawdown on my short positions here. Okay. I mean, it's all manage the risk, but still, no one likes to be on drawdown, right? Everyone likes to make quick money. And sometimes we need to understand that that's not all about. But that's fine. That's completely fine. So my opinions are, if we can potentially come back, break this. This is a 4 hour chart, okay, guys. So you can look at here. That's a 4 hour, or you can look at here as well. So we can see that if we break through this bottom right here, and that's usually what happens. All right, that's usually what happens. Like a pretty strong move, and then another pretty strong move. Let me go back here. And then it breaks the top, breaks the bottom, and then goes all the way back down. And that's probably what we're going to be looking at in the next couple weeks. So if we let's say count these as a break already, okay? So let's say okay, that this is sort of a break. All right, I'm counting as a break already. Okay, this blue line as the price breaking through the bottom here. Okay, perfect. So if we count these, we can do a Fibonacci expansion. And we can go for something like here, here, and here. Let me just figure out something. Just a second. Take this one off. Oh, sorry. This one. This one. I don't want these, and this one as well. Okay, perfect. And the number one. 78. Nope. Tree. I don't need tree. I don't need background and save. So these would be the levels that we would be looking at. Okay. Yes. Of course, this is accounting already the break. Okay. If we do have this break, this is a imaginary break, but still, if we can potentially see a break, this would be the levels that I would be targeting. And definitely, yes, this looks like a sweet spot here. Most interesting is when we go to the 15-minute chart, we can see a pretty solid move yesterday. Oh, yesterday I was like, the worst thing is you have open positions and you go to a catering, right? You go to like a dining, like with someone, and like business, to talk about business, and then you get your phone and you look it up with the charts where your positions are, and that was a pretty funny because I've opened up a short position here, and then the market did these. And I was like, yeah, that's good. And then when the market did, it's like, oh my God, there we go. But that's fine. That's not a problem because most probably what we're going to get is a retracement towards continuation of this area and then again this area. Okay, because what I like to see on those retracements when we have boxes, and I've always mentioned about those boxes. We don't have any clear box around down there, but still this can be sort of a box. But anyways, I do prefer to have these clear boxes here, stuck in a small range. And the market always tends to come back when it breaks the area that it was supposed to. So at this moment, yes, we're counting as continuation of an uptrend. But probably for a pullback, what we will be able to see is a comeback here, and then if we break through this box, we can probably come back down to this level. Okay, this is my take, and this is how I will be trading euro dollar in the next few hours. All right, I will of course continue to short euro dollar, and that's my take on it. Now, if we look to the gold, what just happened with gold? Gold just hit yesterday all-time highs again. Okay, so that is pretty good. Okay, for gold holders. I do have a friend, and I've made a podcast with him already. Okay, Adrian, ACY Securities, Adrian, ACY Cast, actually, sorry. Let me see. ACY Cast. This one. So, and then I've made a podcast with him. He's so knowledgeable, such a nice dude. I really like him. He's a very big commodity trader. Let me share the audio pretty quick. Okay, there we go. You guys should be hearing now. New York futures on gold. I found that very, very interesting. So if you can touch base a little bit on that, I would definitely like to see this.
So essentially, what I realized from around February, there was a discrepancy because Shanghai gold. So it is obviously a bit harder to attain gold in China, which creates a minimal gap between shouldn't be a larger gap than $10.
Yep.
But from February, we were even seeing gaps as large as. So I'll give you the best example. Before New York, gold futures broke 2,400. Shanghai gold futures were trading well above. They were trading closer to 2,450, whereas New York didn't even break 2,400 yet. And this is a type of discrepancy where I've been following the market for a few years now, and I've never seen any sort of discrepancy this large, which I find, you could say it's another red flag to my list.
Okay. So he has so much knowledge, and this is such a nice podcast. So I highly recommend you guys to watch and listen to it, but watch as well because he do share Bloomberg. So this is the Bloomberg screen, and we go through lots and lots of things. He have very interesting scenarios about gold, and even the central bank's gold buyers and sellers year to date, and so much more. So I was like, yeah, that's really cool. And I did buy gold. I did buy gold, but I bought gold here. So that wasn't very pleasant because I didn't hold gold, and then I took a loss, and now gold is up again. So what I find to gold is he is a very success story. Adrian is a very success story. So he had a 10 grand account. He deposited $10,000, and he right now is floating $300,000. So, so he made pretty much $500,000 in a year just holding a few positions on gold on here. I think he had like 10 lots on gold, in a few like 5 positions or something. The whole, whole 5 positions combined around these levels. And yeah, he's done. He's 21, so there's plenty of opportunities happening on gold at this moment. Gold just hit all-time highs again. And I mean, when we look to from the $2,000 all the way to $465, that's a pretty big move, right? That's already 20% move around these numbers already. So pretty interesting. Anyways, so what do I think about gold is that, yes, we hit all-time highs again. Will we retrace? Because every time we hit all-time highs, gold tends to go all the way back, and then go back again, and then all the way back, and then go back again. A interesting fact, okay, that Nathan Bray was telling me, probably maybe Stuart will know that, or maybe not, I don't know. But have you guys, because Australia, right? Let's talk about Australia. Australia digs gold from the ground. All right, so Australia do have gold and do mine gold, and we're a rich country. Australia is a rich country. Did you ask yourself what happens with this gold? Because if we have a mining industry that, always mining gold, and of course they do sell a bit, but what happens with the rest of the gold? When the government buy the gold, okay, where they store this gold? Okay. So that question, um, come up, to my head as well, and I was like, Nathan, because Nathan Bray is, you guys probably know Nathan Bray, right? I've made a video with him yesterday. A very nice guy. He used to sit in front of me in the office. Where is him? I just made a video with him. Oh, there we go, here. So that's Nathan Bray. This guy here, very nice guy. And I've made a video with him, and I was asking him, Nathan, what happens with Australian gold? Where does this gold go? And he's like, I tell you a story, my friend. I'm just, short story. Pretty much it goes to UK for the BOE. All right, so the Bank of England stores Australian gold. And if we look to the vault, you guys won't believe how much gold there is inside of there. All right. I mean, let me just show you this picture. Look at this. This is a lot of gold. And this is only one of them. Okay, this is only one of them, because they have another 9. In total, they have 10 volts, this big. Okay, this big. In the Bank of England. All right. So yes, it is huge, and it's a lot, and it's a lot of gold. Okay. So I asked myself, okay, so how do they know? Because if we look to the bars don't have any numbers. Okay. Like, they don't have any numbers on the bars. Okay, so here, like, you can zoom in and you won't find any numbers on the bars. So how they know that the Australian gold is the Australian gold and the UK is the UK gold? How do they know this? My friends, the answer is they don't know. Okay, so they don't know. Oh yeah, that part there is Australia gold. Yeah, but which part? That one. Yeah, but which one? No, that one in the corner. Yeah, but which one? No, we don't know. So Australia just sends gold to UK because Australia is colonized by, British, let's say Europe. Okay. So it's just it's a very, very funny thing, all right, to think about it. And then it makes me think on another stance. Is gold the best investment to have on your portfolio? Because we see, euro dollar, all of the other currencies, like in a sense, right, Forex trading and so on, such a volatile on economic aspect and so on. Isn't the isn't it the best option only to continue to buy gold as same as Adrian did in the beginning of 2023? So Adrian is holding $3,000 on gold until end of year. All right, guys, I was just talking to my girlfriend, and we were like, wait a minute, we don't have um we don't have this is where Adrian is targeting. We don't have much time to do things. I mean, wake up, everyone. We're going next week. It's the end of this month. Okay, next Sunday is the end of July. This is it. We're going to the month, the number 8. Okay, we're going to August, and there's only 4 months left. There's only 4 months left in the year. Does this get you happy, or does this get you worried? All right, makes you happy or makes you worried? Well, 5 technically, yes, 5. But I mean, counting from August onwards, would be only 4. But yeah, there's only 5 months. So it's pretty interesting, right? If we think about it. So I do believe, I will be probably starting to buy some gold and buy some CFDs, of course, and some physical golds as well to my you know to my portfolio. I do believe after all of these happen, I was like, oh, okay. But this only happened this year, because if you look, it's such a big move in 2023. It's so crazy. Anyways, so really interesting. Now, moving on to GBP USD. As I just talking about this move happen on euro dollar, I do believe that something very similar can happen on pound dollar. Okay, so we did have the very boxy like thing pattern, if I would say, on GBP USD as well. So we've just break through the top here. Okay, and now we're looking to probably break this low and escalate downwards to this level. This one is much more like a box than euro dollar. But I don't see like a way that could potentially continue to increase the prices of the pound and continuously increase the price of euro. Technically speaking, people may look at this and think, oh, it's already too, it's too stretched, as people usually say. It's too stretchy and it's due to a correction, and we're definitely gonna be looking, for another 100 pips down or whatever, 20 pips lower, doesn't matter. My opinion is that the chart doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you, okay, this is a breakthrough higher, this is a breakthrough low, and so on. What we actually need to understand is what are behind the next move. We need to predict the next move already with the economic scenario that we have. All right. So I've just doing a dry overview on, the most traded currencies here. I do believe that you guys are trading euro dollar, gold, GBP, USD, and USD JPY, maybe, some other currencies. But let's have a look on the economic calendar and let's see what awaits us today, tonight, and tomorrow as well. Not much. I will already tell you forward from that. Not much is going to happen, but let's have a look on that as usual we do. Okay, let me just change. Yeah, that's good. Okay, today's Thursday. There we go. So we did have employment change. The employment change in June was good, but the Australian unemployment rate was pretty bad. So higher unemployment, 4.1%. The expected was 4. So they were expecting no changes. Where's my pencil? Let me get it. So they were expecting no changes from the previous, but we did had a increase on unemployment in Australia. So more people getting off from the jobs. Okay. Well, interesting because the Australian part-time employment change was higher and the employment change, the full-time employment change was higher as well. And totaling a pretty good employment change, as of, the unemployment rate continues to grind higher. Let's have a look at more precise on this data. We can see that Australia haven't been too well this year. All right, we only had 2 better readings this year, and they always tend to expect the same or a little bit higher. Okay, but still, they have a lot of work to do on the labor market in Australia. I was yesterday, as I was just saying, I was in a sorry, not labor. I was in a conference with some MPs and, some members of parliament and etc. And we were discussing about the labor market and how is Australia decreasing and continue to decreasing and becoming every year more and more dumb. All right. I actually looked up a video on YouTube and the video was, how did Australia get so rich quickly and how is Australia getting so dumb quickly? Okay. So, so that's a very interesting phrase. It makes you think, right? How did Australia get rich so quick? And why is Australia doing so bad at this moment? Yes, of course, when we compare to other countries like, I'm going to say like Brazil, where I'm from, Australia is much better economically wise, healthy wise, security wise, everything. But when we compare to Swiss, for instance, or Europe, well, Europe is not that well as well, but like still, okay, Japan and so on, they are much better than Australia. Okay, so very interesting to ask yourself, why is Australia going bad, and how and when we will, have a change of these. But anyway, so coming back to the economic calendar, still unemployment rate came in higher. United Kingdom unemployment rate came as expected. And then we're going to have now the interest rates decision at 10:15 p.m. tonight. Deposit facility rate. Okay. And then we're going to have Euro area, the press conference from Lagarde. It's going to be very, very interesting. I've mentioned about this on the video, today's video, and I've told that the market don't care about it. Okay. The market don't care about it. The interest rates decision and the deposit facility rate. Why? because it's priced in already. The 4.25% yields are the way they are. Okay, so let's have a look on the yields side of things. Just a second. Let me open the 10 years here for you guys. So 243, okay. Yields are going, oops, sorry. Yields are going up at this moment. Yes, it came down, of course, but because they've cut the 25 base points, but still that was you know, very expected. 2 years continue to go up. 10 years of US, up this day, and the 2 years up this day. Probably we can see an up move on the yields from US as well. That would drag US dollar higher. But where we're here. So what the market is caring is about the press conference. Okay. Yes, I know these two are, very important, but this one is much more important than those ones. Okay. So why is the market expecting to have much more emphasis at 10:45 and not only at 10:15? Well, because this is when Lagarde, okay, Lagarde is the ECB, sorry, God, Lagarde is the ECB boss. All right, so she's the one that will come to the meeting and say, we're going to hike, we're going to cut, we're going to pause for this, for that, and this reason. And we're not going to do this, and that, and we're going to be waiting for that, this, and that. All right, so that's pretty much what she says. Of course, not this, and that, but still, that's pretty much what she says, and this is what the market is looking at. Why? Because we are on a very inflection point on Europe at this moment. All right, we did have the release of the CPI yesterday. Everything came in as expected. Yeah, okay. Nothing, no surprises, no big surprises on there. Even if we look back to here, we can see that, where was it? What? Oh, that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. There you go. So it came in at 2.5% with no changes, okay? And it has been coming as expected for a long time already, okay? But the main reason why we didn't have much, that's something interesting. The main reason why we didn't have much volatility on the euro dollar side is because this is a final data. Okay. So the final data don't have much influence, as I could say, on the market as a mid data has. All right. So a mid core CPI, for instance, that has much more pressure and it's much more awaited from the market participants than any other. But it came in as expected. Of course, it didn't make any changes on the market as well. Now, as I was saying, so the market is waiting for the press conference because the market, the Europe is on an inflection point right now where we have rates at 4.75. Sorry, 4.25. Okay, rates at 4.25%. And we are waiting for inflation that is on 2.8 around, well, let's say 2.4 to 2.5. Okay. CPI. This is rates. This guy here has to go to 2%. Oops, sorry. This guy here has to go to 2%. So it's still 0.4% to go. And this guy here has to go like to 1.5. Okay. 1.5 to 2%. So there's a fair bit to go. 2 to 2.5% to go. So that is One, two. There is 5 cuts on the monetary policy to at least get to 2%. Lots of things to be done yet. And that's exactly what the market wants to know from Lagarde. Lagarde, what are you watching? What's the central bank watching? Is the central bank watching the CPI, the PPI, the retail sales, the labor market? And give us an overview on the whole economy and what you think that are inflation targets. Now, this is something that's very interesting for you guys to know about it. When the central bank comes in and say that they have a different target range on the inflation that they had previously, that is considered to be, well, it depends. If it's higher, it's hawkish. If it's lower, it's dovish. And that will repercute to the market pretty quick. And I can show you this on NZD-USD. Okay. So for those who trade the QE against the greenback, we saw this move, all right, on Tuesday last week. Okay, so pretty much 10 days ago. Okay, sorry, not Tuesday. It was Wednesday. So we saw this move on Wednesday, 10 days ago, pretty much 8 days ago, last week. Because the New Zealand RBNZ, so the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, have stayed the rates as expected. They haven't changed the rates. But on the other side, we had the release of the monetary policy saying that they are now expecting inflation to come back, well, sort of under control towards the end of this year in 2024. These, of course, RBNZ haven't touched it yet on the option to cut the rates. Okay, they haven't mentioned that yet. But now that they have mentioned that the inflation is slowly coming back, and they are believing that inflation that inflation can come back to the target range. I think that it's 2 to 3% in New Zealand, if I'm not wrong. Let me get a look. Yeah, 1 to 3%. Well, near the 2% midpoint. And if we look, New Zealand right now, they are in 5.4%. So that's a pretty big jump on what they're expecting. But anyways, it's not a problem, right? So that's the reason, because the market was like, okay, so if they now we're waiting for the inflation to come back to target between half of this year and half of next year, that's pretty dovish. And yes, I do believe that's very dovish, and I do believe that this is very bearish as well for the New Zealand currency, the New Zealand dollar. And this is the reason why we get such a strong move as this one. It wasn't the rates. The rates have maintained the same. So what made this move was the market. Sorry. The market context, as I always have been talking about now. So rates have been the same. No change. But the context of the market has now changed to they will cut soon than before expected. Okay. So if now they will cut sooner than expected, that means that the market is already pricing the move. See? So of course, all right. Now some people that say, oh, fundamentals don't work, look at these, the move went down and then it went back all the way up. Yes, of course, my friend. This is a very impactful news, all right? The market will have to be coming back to a pullback. Why don't you wait to place your order and then look at this? It's a beautiful trade, isn't it? It's a beautiful trade, right? So using the context of the new monetary policy approach that the RBNZ is having, we could take a trade on New Zealand US dollar. Okay. What do I think that can potentially happen is exactly the same with, of course, nothing like this, but is exactly the same with euro dollar. Lagarde can come in and say that, yes, we are having sustainably looking to lower inflation on the euro, on the euro area, and we can probably expect inflation to reduce lower than what before expected from, I don't know, next year, half of next year, right? And that will change the market direction. That will change the market direction, and we are on the top of the range. And then comes all the confluences of the technical analysis. Okay. Now, and then gold, when we backed it up gold together, as I was saying, it's a good thing to have on your portfolio for a long trade, a long-term trade. And it goes from there as well. So pretty much building the context, looking at, further details and explanations, we could build it up, the plan for next week already. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, go ahead. Let's wait, sweets. What happens again if the rate remains the same? Yeah, nothing will change. Nothing will change in the market. I mean, yeah, we can have something like, like an up move and then down move, and then the market continues the same. Trading the same, nothing will change. Pretty much it. Would be okay to buy from the 91.30. Would be okay to buy from the 91.30. 30, like here. I mean, if your strategy says that, like here, right? I'm more towards looking to short euro dollar, but if your strategy is, telling you to long, and you have been backtesting the strategy, have been with the results, then just follow your trading plan and use risk concepts and manage your risk. That will be probably a good trade. What's your idea on Aussie dollar? Yeah, look, Aussie dollar is a tricky one at this moment. Okay, Aussie dollar was surfing to the high spot from let me put in a hourly chart. Aussie dollar was surfing on the weakness of the US dollar, but we can possibly see Aussie dollar as well retracing back to somewhere around this area. Okay, somewhere around here. That would be potentially caused if, Australian economy is not good and investors starts to watch that, look, the Aussie dollar is not strong And what was driving the strong move on the Aussie dollar was gold prices, okay, because that enhances the activity on the balance sheet of Australia between countries to sell gold. So they have, Australians selling gold to China, US, UK, they have to buy Australian dollars, and therefore the demand for the Australian dollar gets bigger, and it makes the Australian dollar pretty much stronger. But, I do believe that we are sort of in a confluence where Australian dollar against US dollar are on a peak, and we have as well gold hitting all-time highs, and we always know what happens with gold when we hit all-time highs. So lots of confluences there, but I do believe that Australian dollar can come back for pullback as well, same as euro dollar and same as pound dollar. Now, that's the point when we have a switch back on the macroeconomy, from US. And if you look to the US dollar index, as I have here, we can see that yes, we hit that target I've mentioned a few days back, but we have no further target to go, and this one have been hit already. There's nothing here. This one is like, nah, but yes, we did break through. Oops, sorry. What's that? I don't want Fibonacci. We have breakthrough this point, but we can possibly come back higher and drag sufficient that this drag, okay, this drag would be sufficiently ready to do some retracements on the euro dollar and pound dollar and Aussie dollar, but it's going to be very hard. CHF was stronger yesterday. Can you explain why? Was it? I don't follow CHF. Most probably some data happening. Oh yeah, that's pretty strong. Oh wow, that was a nice trade. See the box here? Break through the bottom and then continue to go. Let's have a look. There's nothing. And there's nothing actually, just normal moves. Probably investors seeking for safe haven. Yeah, most probably. All right, guys. Thanks to come here and have a time with me. I hopefully I could, answer some questions, interact with everyone. I think it was a pretty good session we had today. So, bring your friends and chat with them, and it's going to be always very nice to have more people here. But thanks again for coming, and have a great week, everyone. Thanks, Steve. Have a great week, everyone, and I see everyone next week, or I see you in the next video as well. But if you have any questions, just you can go and ask me on the Telegram, and we go from there.